The Exile Princes of the Seaside. Yes, there are wars in Ethan, but in Ethan there are all manner of things. You will want to hear next about something far away from my little home at the edge of the Great Valley, in the woods on the crown of Shale Hill. My home is interesting, and we will revisit it soon. But first I want to try and expand your knowledge of Ethan. Now my purpose is to guess at your interests. Let's see. In Ethan there are frequent visitors from the skies, from other planets and stars. Once a star landed and mingled with the folk of a mill town. Unsurprisingly, she was called Radiance and crowned as queen. She was a good queen, but eventually she was homesick and left again for the stars. I could tell you about the cave with the green-eyed skeleton, or the buck's head that demands stories, but I don't want to give you a bad impression about Ethan by telling you anything scary. I know. I'll tell you about the exiled princes of the seaside. Everyone loves to hear about wondrous riches. For a moment, it makes our cozy hearths into looming flames, our dining rooms into great halls, our kitchen chairs into thrones. So at the Diamond Seaside, there are former princes of the shore now living in the sea caves and grottos that line the cliffs and wind beneath the wild wood that holds the sandy dunes together. The princes were once nobility along the coast, most notably, of course, the explorer, Prince Ormond, whose famous and hallowed residence was once the Sand Castle. The Sand Castle is a massive fortress of hard-packed sand, which has been solidified and hardened to a chalky rock, pink and glimmering. It glimmers because of the silver and gold in the sand, the source of Prince Ormond's fortune. The Sand Castle's windows are blue and green sea glass, its gate a massive clamshell. Inside its salty halls are 50-foot portraits of the Mer Kings and Mer Queens of old, as well as walls of fish tanks with every kind of sea creature, from minnow to whale and everything in between. At the Sand Castle they dine on seaweed salad and saltwater taffy. The king wears a live jellyfish for a crown and keeps it as a pet when he isn't wearing it. Jellyfish live forever, you know. The knights carry swordfish at their belts and horseshoe crabs on their heads, and everyone's clothes are fashioned to look like fish scales. So Prince Ormond sailed the high seas until it was time to take his place as king of the coast. Ormond returned with a taste for the rough-and-tumble lifestyle of the open ocean. He and his crew took one look at the royal life and instead decided to abandon it and head underground. They found the grottos and caves, half hidden beneath high tide, and began to live a lavish, constant party that endures to this day. Wander the dunes at night, and you will hear the sirens serenading the exiled princes. Dive deep enough into the tidal pools and swim past the squids, and you will see the piles of gold, the harpists, flowing white and blue wine, and Ormond with his crewmates, lounging on beds of warm, soft sand, the mist and the mer people who stay moist at the lapping water's edge. One can only wonder if and when Ormond's gold will ever run out, ending the life of perpetual relaxation. Until then, we can dream of lithe and gentle mermaids, lounging with their tails in the water and their backs on the sand, surrounded by clacking clamshells, drifting harps, steel drums, and an airy and sweet chorus of sirens, singing in the mystical tongues of the undersea, entrancing and enchanting its listeners. But those balmy, sparkling caverns are far away from my home. Still, it's nice to think of ourselves draped in the canvas of an old ship's sail, drinking blue, foamy ocean wine from a coconut cup. I can hear the sirens now, here in my little house in the woods, far from the beach. I hope you can too.